He stated, "Though the basic thesis of the research seems widely improbable, for many years I thought that an ironclad case had been made for the codes. I did not see how cheating could have been possible." Then came the word of the opponents. Though this work did not convince me that the data had been manipulated, it did convince me that it could have been. That manipulation was technically possible. After a long and interesting analysis of the experiments and the dynamics of the controversy, stating, for example, that almost everybody included in the controversy made up their minds early in the game. The thesis of the codes research seems wildly improbable. Research conducted under my own supervision failed to confirm the existence of the codes, though it also did not establish their non-existence. So I must return to my a priori estimate that the codes phenomenon is improbable. The author of the Bible Code himself has come under much criticism. Both sides of a debate have complained. Believers argue that Drossnin's claim that the Bible predicts future events is false, and that this does not help the cause at all. Critics state that the code Drossnin used was in error. They pointed out that he ignores words and other elements. He also made several predictions that have simply not come true. In the Bible Code too, it was claimed that there would be a world war with an atomic holocaust, which would end the world in either 2000 or 2006. Unless I'm mistaken, that didn't happen. He claimed that Libya would develop weapons of mass destruction which would be given to terrorists to attack the West. What actually happened was a warming of relations with the West, a reduction in weapons, and eventually a revolution bringing them closer to democracy. He also claimed that Yasser Arafat, the ex-leader of the Palestinian Authority, would be assassinated. A gunman from the Palestinian Hamas movement would do the deed. Arafat died in 2004 from a stroke. Randy Ingermason, a writer, said, "He believes that the future is not fixed, and that the Bible Code predicts all possible outcomes." Which makes it not much of a predictive tool, but again, he seems not to mind this very much. If you are laying bets based on Drossnin, you had better be willing to bet on all possible outcomes. He is accused of claiming to have scientific support, when in fact there isn't any. That he mistranslates Hebrew words to make his argument stronger, and that he does not test his work using other books that may not have codes in them. Drosnin claims that other texts would not yield results. Moby Dick, he said, would not have an ELS comparable to the Torah. Mackay took the challenge and fine-tuned an ELS experiment with Moby Dick. Looking for modern-day events, he found the assassination of Martin Luther King, J.R. and Rabin. The Rabin assassination even included the assassin's first and last name, the university attended, and the word Oslo for the Oslo Accords. Drosnin countered, stating that such fine-tuning was absurd. Mackay claims that Drosnin had employed the flexibility of the Hebrew language and changing letters to create results. In essence, debunkers have debunked very well and found numerous modern-day events in other works. They even discovered the September the 11th attacks on New York in a song by Vanilla Ice. The truth is that our languages were created by us. All of nature is a series of mathematical equations and ratios. Everything we do, say and think is based upon some form of ratio. The atoms in our minds instruct the whole body. pattern finds its way outwardly into the civilizations we create, where a few leaders instruct the body of society. The patterns and ratios observed at the very lowest subatomic level are observable also in the vast expanse of the universe. And all of this finds its way into our language. Words and letters are in reality hidden numbers. Indeed, each letter in the Hebrew alphabet is a number. There will, therefore, even in the simplest form of writing, be some form of ratio, which when observed or spotted by a mathematically minded individual, seem to be a message. If that ratio is observed in a book that was supposedly written by God, then the observer is inclined to believe he is witnessing a divine message. Isaac Newton saw that ratio in the Bible and spent years of his life attempting to unlock the Word of God. Add into the mix the very human elements of ego, desire to be loved and greed, and it is no great stretch to begin manipulating the findings. For centuries, mankind has been trying to convince each other that their religion is best. They have written books, preached, sung songs, and even gone into battle. And now they have even twisted the results of what should have been a purely scientific analysis. This is not to say there are no codes within the Bible. There are. Many of the writers were under scrutiny from the power of the land, namely the Romans. A lot of information was hidden from them, and many scholars evaded Roman rule by escaping to such places as Qumran, where they set up their New Jerusalem and got to work on writing and rewriting the biblical texts. Early Gnostics used all manner of methods to pass on wisdom literature, biographical information, and to even stir the people to revolt. They weren't all peace-loving hippies, and there were a great many battles. Today we'd call many of them terrorists or freedom fighters, depending on which side we were. But they did use the technology and methods of the time, just as armed groups use Twitter today. In conclusion, the only real code resulting from all of this is the reality of the mind of man. It reveals itself in all its glory and all of its duality. The desire to be loved, to live beyond death, to help others, brings the battle of trying to resolve those feelings and beliefs in our own mind. And to justify our beliefs, we attempt to convince others. Every person has a level of acceptability of what is right and wrong for the cause. To some, it's acceptable to bend the truth a little, and to others, it is not. To the masses who have no in-depth scientific understanding, the evidence laid before them appears convincing. It has always been this way. People who have knowledge gain power, and to use both to assert their beliefs upon others. In this way they gain more power, and religion is born and fostered. It becomes a self-perpetuating beast. Science can only be the ultimate test of all beliefs, as long as the scientists have no hidden agenda.